Coach, it was almost two different games. You guys got off to such a good start, and they came back and made it quite interesting in the third quarter. What happened in those two halves?
Well, really those two middle quarters, we just dried up a little bit offensively. You know, the turnovers is the big key that I just felt like we left a ton of points out there. You know, hadn't played in a little over a week. I think we were a little anxious. I thought some of our ball handling was just being sped up a little bit and trying too hard. But that's a number that obviously, you know, is very concerning to have 19 turnovers. I thought as the game went on, I know they closed it to 4, but I just felt like we really started handling their high-risk defense and got the ball out and got to some skip passes and got to some stampede drives that created some opportunities for ourselves or open shooters. And clearly, you know, shooting a high percentage like that from 3 really helped us tonight. So, again, I thought Lamar did a lot of good things against us. They sped us up. They came from behind. They turned us over. We had to be pretty good to walk away with a 20-point lead, and I thought we were pretty good defensively and held our own on the defensive glass.
Yeah, your defense really caught my eye. That really seemed to set the narrative for that game. Tell me a little bit about what you were planning on doing defensively going into this thing.
Well, I mean, everybody left in the tournament has a big post presence, and Davis is really a good player. I mean, if you play behind her, she scores over any size. So we did a pretty good job on her in the first half, and then she just got more aggressive and hurt us a little bit in the second half. But we clearly had to have a plan against her. I thought we got a couple of steals. We made some things a little bit harder for her, so that was really good for us. You know, they don't have too many three-point shooters, but I thought we did a good job other than 1 or 2 times where we let their shooters get loose. But, you know, we're real switchable. You know, we're a little bit bigger and longer on them. They probably aren't as used to playing length like we have, and I think that hurt them in their shooting percentage some. So we knew that what they do if they can't match up there, they turn you over, and then that creates a lot of problems for us. So again, our turnovers led to 20 points of theirs. That was the equalizer, and we've got to clean that up. That kept them in the game. When we got a little bit better at that, I thought we stretched that lead out.
Yeah, Coach, going into the fourth quarter, game was kind of tightening up, and then you guys played really well in the fourth quarter and really kind of blew the doors off of it. How does you compare this fourth quarter to maybe other fourth quarters in the past where you guys haven't been able to hang on with some of the other teams? How did you guys be able to do that today and just really played your best basketball in the fourth quarter?
Well, I mean, I think sometimes subbing can really get us out of rhythm. You know, we started the game really well, had a 21-point first quarter. You know, we're constantly looking for 20 points each quarter. So the 2 middle ones are the ones that are concerning when you only have 13. Again, I think that's because of their pressure and the turnovers that we had. Just tried to settle our team down. We went back to our starting lineup for the most part, a lot of that, and just stayed with it. And I thought they got a really good rhythm together. B didn't score the ball, but she's plus 27. So she was playing her guts out on the defensive end. She got a lot of offensive rebounds that kept plays alive. Just appreciate her effort and how hard she plays and how we're better because she's on the floor. And then I think some of our shooters just got loose. Tara had a good fourth quarter. Bella had a couple of runouts. We got some easy baskets against their pressure and and you know, take advantage of them pressuring in the backcourt and attack them a little bit more in the front court. So I think it's again a great win for us just to put a decent game together, but clearly enough to continue to work on because we got to continue to work on our consistency.
Yeah, you mentioned B, and I would throw in Bella as well. Maybe they didn't score a whole lot today, but I thought they both played really well despite that, kind of going on unsung heroes. They weren't shooting those threes, but How do you feel that they still kind of helped contribute to that win?
I thought Bella really had a better second half. She got much more aggressive on their ball screening, had a couple of blocks. Her presence is huge, and I thought how we guarded them in the second half was better than the first half. Didn't give them as many comfortable shots, but again, the activity level of our defense, the last time we played was against Cal, and we were as flat-footed and slow to react and just didn't play the game as hard as it's required if you want to win. And so they've been hearing a lot about that since we played, and our practices have been, really intense for that reason. You have to rebound better. We have to have 5 people on the boards. I thought our post defense was really good, and that's the activity level of all of our posts. So, again, we're still trying to figure out the offensive end. I still think it's the offensive end that gets us a little bit, but I liked how we put a good game together defensively, and I think we still have good weapons to continue to grow offensively.
Yeah, speaking of that offense, seeing Jenna Villa and Kira Gardner both with those multiple three-pointers, I think, for both, was the green light on tonight for them? Were you just kind of letting them shoot? Because they were both shooting really well, it seemed like.
Well, we need those two to shoot. Kira's had some really good days in practice. Again, I think you're seeing her potential. She gets into a little bit of trouble, probably both of them as freshmen, because they can mess up defensively. And in close games, you got to be careful with that. But their offensive threat is something we really need. I love, having that offensive punch coming off the bench. Clearly, Kira had a great first half. Jenna's always got a green light. We've got to get her some shots. I thought Alex didn't do anything to hurt us. I like her aggressiveness. I like how she's making a difference in what she's doing. Again, got a full team effort here. I thought Tara Wallach made huge threes for us. We can go down the list and really have good numbers from a lot of people on our team. AT was amazing. LA has been kind of injured and hadn't been playing a lot in practice, so, I'm not surprised that she's a little out of rhythm, but really it's a good night for her as well. So, great team victory tonight.
Yeah, just one last question, Coach. After hearing the girls and Tara said, she thinks that you guys should be in March Madness, and it's probably disappointing to them that you guys aren't, but how do you still kind of motivate the team, even if they may be a little bit feeling down about themselves, but clearly they're a good team and able to win by 20-point margin. So how do you motivate the team coming into this game and just really pump them up?
Yeah, I think, it's a little bit of you got to play both sides of the coin there. We did a lot to get into the NCAA tournament. We weren't playing our best basketball, and we lost badly at versus Cal in the tournament. That was the last look someone had on us. So if the criticism was, our body of work probably should have gotten us in, we just weren't playing as good as other people. We can cheer for the pack and hope that they win and they prove how hard our league is and the fact that we should have had more in the league. Those are arguments that will always be out there. But, I look at it now and I go, we're in the next best tournament that's out there. This is the first WBI tournament held for women. The NCAA is putting it on. It's prestigious. It has a Final Four setting in Indy. This gives our young players another opportunity to play. We get another opportunity to play this weekend. And now, we can be disappointed about that, but it also just becomes you got to earn what you get. We didn't earn it. We didn't do quite enough. And the way we finished that wasn't, you can have a loss, you just can't have bad losses. And that was a bad loss for us. So we have to own that. And we have to understand we're playing in an unbelievable tournament with great competition, and we need to take advantage of every moment we get to play and every game we get to play to extend our season for these young players and to give these seniors something to think about and hope that they can put a banner up in this building, another banner.
Coach, what do you know about Santa Clara? What are you expecting from them Sunday?
I was doing the Brigham Young Scout, so I know nothing other than I just watched the end. Just, again, I think our team is probably a little tired. So what I know is that we needed a day off. So in that sense, we can take tomorrow off and get a good day of practice and then play. at this point, you can only do so much scouting. You have to be able to have you got to know how you're going to play people, and you got to do what you're going to do. But just excited to be playing and excited to be hosting. I love the fans that we had out today, and hope that we can double up that crowd and get more excitement around our program. And maybe we need to have the men come in after they've won their second game on Saturday. If they can win tonight and then get to a Sweet 16, we can have them at our game on Sunday. So it's exciting to be here, and again, we'll spend the next day really digging into Santa Clara.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Cougs.